wonder what that intense loss will feel like, losing my parents. Losing our parents. That was a parent I was speaking of earlier. The loss of a parent. One of the things that can rip our hearts open. You know, I think that my fear of not being able to bear that loss and that pain, my fear of it was so great. And the gift for me was in realizing, being a human, I can bear that. I can bear the thought of not only the death of my loved ones, but the death of myself, my own loved self. Who is the poet that said that we are here to learn to bear the beams of love? Well, I just wonder if one of those beams of love is not the fact that we get to bear the burden of loving each other all the way home. How many of you have heard, perhaps your own parents, perhaps it's come out of your own mouth, when, as I age, I do not want to be a burden to my children or anyone else. Yeah, all right, a few honest hands, I guess. Yeah. Well, what if it's not a burden that causes pain as much as a burden that gives a gift? Okay, here's my little theory. I think that inside each of us, as we grow up in age, we get to hold all parts of ourselves, so that somewhere in me is still a 7-year-old child. Somewhere in me is still a 14-year-old, God bless that 14-year-old child, still in me somewhere. But somewhere in me is a 30-year-old young mother. And all along the stage, I hold those places in me, and I have access to some of that wisdom. So, when I need the wisdom of being vulnerable and dependable, what if I could access that baby wisdom that I still have deep inside of me, that knew how to be utterly helpless and adorable? I wonder if I could. I don't know. But maybe it's possible that we spend so much money and so much effort and so much angst. I've done it in wanting to do everything I could do for my loved ones as they're dying. Everything I could do, thinking that it meant the most expensive procedures, spare the expense. And yet, those things of taking the time to take a spoonful of applesauce in my hand when my beloved father could no longer pick it up himself and offering it to him. Could that be all I could do? And would that be enough? Just ask us a question. All right, let me get back to some of these great ones. One thing that could make me die smiling would be reflecting upon thrilling experiences, achievements accomplished, and good deeds done. Have a medical directive somewhere sitting on your desk or somewhere unfilled out, or you've thought about it, but a medical directive somewhere. Now, here's the truth. You can have a medical directive and sometimes it's ignored. A medical directive tells how you want to be treated, how you want to spend your last days, and it says whether or not you want resuscitation attempts made. Sometimes the hospitals are in too much of a hurry. Sometimes they don't ever look through the records, and sometimes the push to fight against a death is so strong. Sort of like a guardian angel run amok, I think. But still, the more we have a plan, the more people will know, and the more our wishes might be granted. It's worth it for me, Martina Decay, to be part of this movement. I am a certified death midwife. Can you believe there is such a thing? There is. And this is the training about educating all of us to our rights, to all the laws that really we want to be in place to help us die smiling. And there is so much information out there. But not just in the legal things. There's lots of information in poetry. And on the back table, there are some pieces of paper for all of you. And if you want, there's a poetry session afterwards. But I'll just leave you with a little snippet of poems. And actually, I think I'm going to perhaps maybe leave these with you as well, so that if you ever want to get together. Because what would it be like if you could sit down together with a group of tender hearts, like your own, and sit in one morning or one afternoon, and together come up with a plan, just a playful, simple plan, so that you could have the final word in your own words. Would that be interesting to you to do it? For me, I can have all the forms, all the information, but I really need other people holding my hand as I do some of these things. All right? So you know what Mary Oliver, the poet, says about how to live in this world? In order to live in this world, you have to be able to do three things, she says. To love what is mortal, to hold it tight against your bones as if you're knowing your life depends on it. And when the time comes to let it go, to let it go. I am so grateful to be mortal. I am so grateful for the experiences to share with you the joys of being human.